Hi everyone. I thought it would be a good moment just to catch up with you all since our training session some months ago. We've obviously had the summer in the middle of all of that. I hope you've all had a really good opportunity to take a break and recharge and spend some time with your loved ones and your families over the last few weeks. But now I guess our thoughts start to turn towards the final leg of this year from September through to December. And I just thought it might be helpful just to remind you of a couple of the things that we discussed when we were together in our various sessions around the country. Thanks again for your participation, and also thank you for your feedback that you provided following those sessions. That's been really helpful, I know, to myself and particularly to Sarah. But just to remind you of where we were at. I know your lives are busy and filled with other things, but when we think about renewal and retention, there were 2 or 3 things that we needed to explore. We needed to think about how we use the dashboard. We needed to think about the use of the hot prospect report and how we can perhaps gain a little bit more insight from that report. For those of your dealers and retailer partners with P360, are we clear on how P360 can support the journey and what we could use and the data for and how we use that data? But also, I guess, fundamentally was to give you the confidence to have really good, sensible conversations with every single one of your dealers to help them identify where is the biggest opportunity for growth, where is the greatest chance of success. Because sometimes with retention and renewal, we spend a lot of time on areas which aren't going to give us the right return. So we thought a little bit about exploring the data. You'll remember that we had the charts up on the wall and you started to kind of look at that data perhaps in a slightly different light. You started to take a closer view of what's possible, maybe differences in APRs. I saw some really powerful data the other day where one of you had started to break down an APR comparison between current agreement and future rate. And I thought that was a very powerful way of showcasing an opportunity. We looked at the term. Whereabouts in the agreement is somebody? Where's the hot moment? We know that where we work with some of the manufacturer partners, the peak moment of renewal or retention is around 76% of the way through the agreement. So we know there's an opportunity there to start thinking backwards from that. Of course, it'll be different maybe for a used car site or for a leisure site. I understand that. But if we understand the data can drive our decisions. So little update, I guess. It's been great to see. I understand from Sarah there's been a fairly significant increase in the utilization and the usage of the dashboard. That's got to be brilliant. All of the data sits inside there. It's a question of how we extract it and how we use it. And in fact, there's further training, I believe, planned for September to help you with the dashboard and start to think about how you can gain greater insights from that dashboard and also get a little bit of best practice from some of your colleagues and regarding how they use the dashboard and how they're taking some of that data, extracting some of that data and helping them focus on where the real opportunity lies. Also regarding P360, many of you have completed the training needs analysis questionnaire and survey that Sarah had shared a little while ago. Thank you again for coming back on that. And it's quite clear that we probably need to give you a little bit more support around P360, both on its functionality, but then also how you can utilize the data within the system and once you've identified how to use the functionality just a little bit better. So there's more of that to come as well to make sure that you feel really, really clear. And I guess, you know, my closing comments really today was just to say that, you know, it's all possible. Everything is possible. We just have to look at the data in a critical and honest viewpoint to see where is the opportunity. Is there some really helpful processes that we can share with you? And maybe later on the year, we can start to think a little bit about some of the content that you might want to provide your dealers with in terms of what makes a great phone call, for example, or what could make a really good sort of conversion flow for renewal or retention, or starting to map out a really clear customer journey and renewal journey, but more of that maybe to come. All I want you to sort of, I guess, focus on in the next quarter is to start thinking about, are we interrogating every possible opportunity? Are we using the systems to their absolute best? Not just we've logged in and that's great, but are we really analyzing the data to help identify the best opportunity? Are we taking a moment before we visit a dealer ourselves just to look at the dashboard, or perhaps to look at the hot prospect reports and just see where is the opportunity? Which of the sessions or which of the particular leads that I want to explore in more detail with my dealer? And then for you to have the confidence to have a really good, sensible dialogue with the dealer. And let me tell you, we all know that success breeds success. And once we start to see some success, or more importantly, when your dealers and your dealer salespeople start to see a little bit more specific success, they'll continue and they'll follow the process. So look, I wish you the very best of luck for the next few months. Hopefully we'll get a chance to get together again. But in the meantime, have a great September. Have a really good start to what could be a very, very busy period for us in the coming months. And do you know what? Let's see if we can close the year with a significant shift forward. Remember, we're only looking for a relatively small proportionate increase in where we are now. So it's not a big push, but let's work on it, be focused, be clear, and collaborate with each other so that we can gain the benefit of each other's success. But for now, I wish you the very best of luck.